There is no other system on Earth like hydrothermal vents. There's no other system that is so isolated and under such extreme pressures and such extreme heat. It's really otherworldly.
Geology is the building block of this ecosystem. Here we have tectonic plates moving apart, and this gives rise to material coming from the Earth's interior, which is very hot. And a consequence of all that heat and the water that we have on the oceans, it's the hydrothermal vents.
It's not sunlight, but it's the chemicals in the vent fluid that forms the basis of this whole system.
So at a base level, the microbes are surviving off the chemicals, and then everything else is surviving off of the microbes. So we're just trying to characterize those communities and figure out what's there first. There's bacteria, which is what I study, there's archaea, and then there's even viruses as well. Sometimes microbes are free living, so animals are just eating them from the fluids or from the rock. There are these white fuzzy bacterial mats that form on the rocks at active vents. Sometimes the microbes are actually found on the cilia of animals. And then sometimes microbes are found in symbiotic relationships with those animals.
The most significant example is probably endosymbiosis, where the animals have special cells for usually one, sometimes two or more bacteria that would live inside a specialized cell in their body. For example, the giant clams we see, they have cells in the gill which are full of bacteria, and the Riftia tube worm have this organ called trophosome which takes up most of its body, and that is basically a sack of bacteria. It doesn't need to feed, it just needs to sit in the hot spring and wait for energy to happen within its body. So the Pompeii worm is another different way of interacting with bacteria. So if you look at a Pompeii worm, you can see all these white filaments, and that white filament is actually all bacteria. It's not part of the animal. The worm definitely feeds and benefits nutritionally and energetically from this relationship. So it's a very intricate relationship that we know still very little about. So the animals all have different adaptations to the environment. And the coolest thing is sometimes you think you understand what they're doing, and then you look into them and they're actually doing something completely different, which means there's a lot of hidden secrets about these animals that we don't know yet.
And after that, we have larger creatures that are not symbiotic but are still benefiting from the vent environment. We have the top predators that include the crabs and the fish that really scavenge on anything that is at the active vent ecosystem. The skates, as well as corals, are just one of many groups that live close to vents and potentially benefit or use resources at active vents. I'm interested in seeing, do they utilize the energy, the productivity that we see at active vents and incorporate that into their own diet?
It's important because those elements are then used at the higher ocean levels by different animals and different plants. Chemicals in the ocean, cycling in the ocean, sustain life as well.
So we want to understand how the whole system works and not just one isolated area, because that will inform management and that will inform protection and that will inform safeguarding. I love that it's unknown, uncharted, and I want to contribute to telling that story.